Somehow, I've managed to end up at Volkswagen UK. Either way, I've been handed the keys to this, the Mk8.5 VW Golf GTI, and I'm going to tell you why I'd actually buy one of these after I moved the camera over there for better engagement. Apparently, you've moved the camera. Is that? I think that makes me look too small. So in case you didn't know, this will be the last GTI with an engine inside. It's going to be an electric vehicle from 2028. In terms of power, we don't know, but what we do know is that in front of us, we probably have the last of the front-wheel drive hot hatches. Come on now, front-wheel drive hot hatch, all about the fun, and this is probably the only one that you could buy today, right now. As you're watching the video, go to Auto Trader or go to VW's website, you could buy one right now. Let's go for a drive. Now, if somebody said a hot hatch, without going to those silly powered ones, you'd think front wheel drive, nice and small, 3-door or maybe 5-door, and the Golf GTI would definitely be in the top 3. You'd probably also find a Fiesta ST in that group, along with a Hyundai i20 or an i30N. But there's something about a Golf and the way it drives that just makes sense. And talking of this one, it's got a fancy diff on the front axle, so whenever you need grip, it's there. And when you are in Milton Keynes and you decide to go a bit faster than you know you probably should on a roundabout, it's there. On these wet, slippy days, it's there, feeding the power in. The Golf GTI is the go-to if somebody said fun little hot hatch. Let's not be silly. You don't need 330 or 340 horsepower to have fun. This is the sweet spot. Now, some eagle-eyed viewers might notice that I did have a Golf GTI on a channel about a year ago, and that was the Mk8, and this is the Mk8.5, and there have been a few changes. The infotainment is way better in terms of lagginess and errors. It's still got all of that touch stuff there, but steering wheel wise, we have buttons, and I'd love to press it, but I'll probably activate the adaptive cruise control, the volume control, the view setting, because you've got a virtual cockpit. I'm just showing off the spec here, and the heated steering wheel, again flexing on the spec. But that aside, it is a familiar place. You've obviously got the lovely tartan seats, which might not be everyone's cup of tea. I have been told it looks very granny, but that person was a granny. So the biggest change for me has been the horsepower. It's got a 20 horsepower increase, taking it from a previous 245 to the current 265. And can we feel it in the wet? Bearing in mind, front wheel drive. Oh, did you hear the crackles? Snap, crackle, and pop. And riding those bumps, as you saw me just then, thanks to the fact that it has adaptive suspension. So dynamic chassis control, the ACC, not the ACC. And the DCC works splendid. What in the name happened to this road? Now, as mentioned, those other cars, or competitors, as we'd like to call them, they're all finished. They are actually finished. You can't go out and buy one today unless you're buying used. There's nothing wrong with buying a used car, but if you've got the funds and you enjoy the whole ownership experience of buying a brand new car and the warranty that comes with it, then of course, head down to your local Volkswagen and go and pick one of these up. However, you can't do that with those other cars. You can't do that. They are no longer making the Fiesta, they're no longer making the Hyundai. This is the only car currently in that bracket that you can still buy brand new, and they're not saying goodbye to it either. Like I said, there will be an EV version of this coming soon. Handling characteristics, obviously I can't tell you any of that because I don't know. Power, again, I don't know, but going off the fact that VW have always made fun little hot hatches correctly, I can't see any reason why it won't be
as it's meant to be.
M135i, Giulia or Cupra Leon, those are the competitors for the Golf GTI in terms of price bracket and performance, and I would happily say I'd rather have this. Don't get me wrong, X-Drive is great, but there's something about either rear or front wheel drive that just gets you way more involved with the drive. So talking about that, Golf R, again, I would probably choose this. Golf R is a great car, all year round performance, but it doesn't have the fun factor of this. Let me know what you think. And as mentioned, in terms of power, we've got 265 horsepower coming out of this beast as opposed to 245 in the old model. And like I said, it's more than enough. Sure, you might want 310 or 295 that you can get from a Golf R, but front wheel drive, this is more than enough to get the heart pumping. We've left it in comfort because for these roads, it's all you need. So that paired with the 20 horsepower increase is instant. The diff squirms around a bit, but it finds traction almost immediately. And when I say the sweet spot, trust me, daddy, this is the sweet spot. It finds grip quickly. It's very, very pointy from what I've experienced so far. Bearing in mind it is a bit wet and these tires might not be the Yokohamas, obviously. It works really, really well. Grip, control, and speed paired with the DSG gearbox, of course. The GTI is the one. Golf R? Now in terms of looks, this thing has aged very, very well. And I know what you're thinking, Tim, it's a 24 plate, it's the 8.5, but by that, I like how the Golf has not changed over the years. Sure, it's got better lights, it's got new features, like I said, the wheels, but if you spotted this thing on the road from a mile away, you'd know it's a Golf. Even in the boot, Golfs have always been known to have humongous boots, and there you go, fit a pram, fit some bags, you're off to the races. So again, you just cannot beat a Golf. Looks, space, fun with the GTI is definitely there all day, every day. So here we are joining the main road, and we're up to the speed limit already without a single faff. Now, bearing in mind that this is front wheel drive and the Golf R is four wheel drive, not taking anything away from the Golf, it's a great car. But me personally, if somebody said hot hatch, loads of fun, like I said, I'd rather have rear or front. And in this case, the front works really, really well. Bearing in mind, we don't have the greatest conditions right now, hence why I'm not doing a 0 to 60. So if you're waiting for that, you'll be waiting quite a while. It manages to put the power down so well. And like I said, the Golf R is a great car, but the GTI, its heritage and how it just gives you tons of fun, just cannot be beaten. Now, the age-old question about certain hot hatches becoming collector's cars, I couldn't say that this could become a collector's car because there's so many of them made. However, the Club Sport, now that's another story. And if you want to see that on the channel, make sure you get in the comments and let me know so I can show Juan or Nikki and they can give it to me. So I personally feel that the GTI is one of the best hot hatches out there currently that you could buy, and has been for a very, very long time. So likes and dislikes, it's quite obvious. I think this is a great car. What don't I like about this car? Absolutely nothing. And that's a very hard thing to say in this current climate. I'm not sure whether you could spec this with an aqua exhaust. If you could, probably go for that, but I think they've saved that for the Golf R and the more expensive cars. But that aside, yeah, this is the sweet spot, or as the French would say, le sweet spot. I don't know if they'd say le or z. Maybe that's German. Because it's German, let's just say ze. This is the sweet spot. And if I was trying to do a German accent there and you're offended, please forgive me. I'm just saying your cars are absolutely amazing. And in case I haven't touched on the interior, flat bottom steering wheel, lovely digital cockpit. As I said, the infotainment works way better now. You've got grandma's seats, which are manual, which is probably better because you ain't got electric seats that when you press a button, it takes 10 minutes for them to go forward. Hand on heart, the Golf GTI 8.5 is the one you want. So firstly, a huge shout out to Volkswagen, and guys, if you have enjoyed this video, please smash the thumbs up button, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and I'll see all of your beautiful faces in the next one. Take care and God bless.